Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for Politically Incorrect Knitters. I am Deplorable Knitter. This lovely lady is Ann Pinkapa. And thanks for joining us, and sorry we're late. I will take full responsibility. I was watching the Derby. It's not that big of a deal, but it always happens on my birthday weekend, so it's like a thing. Even though I don't watch horse racing and it's always right there. So it was fun. The guy we were rooting for did not win. That's okay. But before we get into our thing, we're sponsored by Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. She's fabulous and wonderful, and you can find her at chickenladyfiberarts.com. If you use the... Wait, this is the wrong code.
That's the wrong code.
That is the wrong code. Do not use it.
Do not use that code. You will get nothing. Absolutely. Zip. Zero. Nada.
What is it? Hot Wing?
Yes. PIK Hot Wing is the new code for May.
Yes.
You can get 20% off your order of $50 or more, and go to chickenladyfiberarts.com in order to use that code. You can get beautiful yarns such as Eastern Bluebird. She has a lot of new yarn. She has a lot of orange yarns for Neil's Make Orange Great Again knit along. So definitely check those out. This is Eastern Bluebird. This month's giveaway is Western Meadowlark, which is very pretty. Actually, these two together are pretty awesome, though they're being given away separately. And also the winner of the Eastern Bluebird is Magic Wands of 2. So if you could email us at politicallyincorrectknitters@gmail.com, I will get this out to you. So that'd be good.
Cool. So use the code PIK Hot Wing, chickenladyfiberarts.com. She's fabulous. She's got great yarn.
And actually, my project has a newsletter for new yarn colorways.
Yes, all the time. Oh, hold on. I got some yarn I forgot about. Let me just go off screen and grab it quick.
All right.
There. Okay, sorry about that. I just didn't think to grab it beforehand. Like I said, the excitement of watching the Derby, and it's just been a wicked long day, so that's okay.
It's nice. It's a Saturday. We're hanging out, and thank you to the chat for showing up at an unusual time.
We appreciate it. Can I talk first, since I'm a little hyper? I'm always a little bit hyper. My kids had a play today, and my oldest, we weren't sure if it was the number 1 part or the number 2 part, but actually I think they had more lines and more solos than like the main character. So they did very well. Both my kids did very, very well. They had 2 shows. We had to get up early. We had people over, so I had to get up and like put things in the crock pot. I put a turkey in the crock pot because our store was having a sale on turkeys, and my husband got one because it was 99 cents a pound. We had 7 people. We still have leftover turkey in the crock pot. I literally put it in and put salt and pepper on top of it and covered it, and it was delicious.
Turkey is great. Turkey is great for leftovers too.
Yeah.
Like, you can't go wrong with it.
And for that price, we were really excited, because we fed all those people for like $15, and you can't feed anybody for $15 anymore. So that's pretty exciting. But no, it was just a long, long day. Got up early. I went to both shows. My husband didn't. Other family didn't, because it was the same play twice.
Right.
But it was okay. I went to both shows. It was fun. So we did that. And I started a new project. And Amy, I'm glad you're here, because I think that this kind of goes into something you were working on. And if I can finish this project, I may want to help you out. So I am making this. It's by Tana's Fiber Arts. It's called the Jethro cardigan, and it's granny squares, but then it's got knit sleeves and knit bands and a knit hem, and I'm in love with it. And I have 5 squares done already, and I just started it today, and I've been running around like crazy. So, and I'm loving I'm in love with my squares. I think they're so pretty.
They are.
And you may not. They might not be up your alley, but I love them and they make me happy. So, um, I'm using, I've got 2 colors from the fiber company. I think that they're like fancy yarns too. I think they've got like silk and stuff in them. Like,
Nice.
I'm not usually this fancy, but I had them in my stash and I was like, they're pretty. They match the yarn I want to use. Um, yeah, wool, cotton, linen, and silk. Like, pretty, pretty stuff. And then this is a retired, I don't know if it was retired. I don't think she has it anymore, so it must be. But this is a chicken. Oh, you can't really see it that well. This is a Chicken Lady Fiber Arts color, and it is the Friday Night Knitting Club. Maybe that's a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
Got like pinks and yellows, and I always say I hate yellow, but in this application, it's kind of mustard, and with the other colors, it's just pretty, and like greens, and I'm in love. And then I've got this pink that I'm using to kind of break up some of the drab. Sorry, my cat had gotten to it, so it got all unwound. But this is Jill Draper Make Stuff. It's really pretty. But I went stash diving for all of my yarns. And I had like 3 or 4 skeins of this darker green. So it's going to be in between my squares, and then it's going to be my hemming and my sleeves and if there's some Chicken Lady left over after the squares, I'm probably going to put like stripes before the cuff of my sleeve. Like I saw some that were done like that, and I was like, yeah. So anyway, but Amy, I know you were doing a sweater that was going to be granny squares and then knitting. And so if I finish this, I might be interested in helping you. We'll see. Because I've got a couple of other colors that I wanted to use, but I didn't have enough of them. So it might work for the other thing. But yeah,
Hey.
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
And then I started a teeny tiny Pikachu, but I forgot to grab it before I came in here. But one of my kids asked me to make it. And let me tell you, I could not find any yellow yarn because I don't like yellow. So finding a color suitable for Pikachu was difficult.
No, it has to be a pretty bright yellow for Pikachu.
Uh-huh. Did I drop? Oh, geez. I'm dropping everything today. I swear. So, and then Chicken Lady sent me some yarn because she thinks I'm awesome, which is really cool. But look at it. Let Them Live colors.
Yay!
And speaking
of
Let Them Live colors, you know, Anna and I have kind of forgotten to talk about it, but we're doing the April Showers knit along. It's for babies. It goes through May, even though it's not April anymore. And we're making things for babies, and we're sending them to Amy, Pro Life Knitter, or we're sending them to local, women's. I keep wanting to say shelter, but like pregnancy centers or whatever, or just the people in your life that are having babies. Mm-hmm. I just found out. Side note, I'm telling you, I'm on my stepbrother and his wife are pregnant with their second baby, and I guess she went to the doctor yesterday. Thank you. And they said her amniotic fluid was low. So if it is low on Monday, baby and I are going to share a birthday. So that'll be fun. Because she's having a C-section either way, but she's going to have it like a week or 2 weeks earlier, depending on how that goes. So, yeah. So that's going on here, but they're in Florida, so we won't see the baby till probably Christmas, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Which is sad, but that's okay. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Iris. Oh, Iris, how are your babies? Bless you, Anne. I hope everything's going well with you and your twins, I think, right? I think so. But whatever. New babies are hard no matter how many of them you have. And if you have more than one, that's a lot. So, but then Chicken Lady also sent these in my package. And it's for the kids and I to dye this summer. Mm-hmm. To do some.
That's so cool for you to do that.
Yeah, so she sent us packets of these, which thank you, Lynn. We're pretty excited about that. It's too wet and rainy right now to even think about it. Yeah, Iris wasn't watching live last week because she had the girls on Friday. Oh, congratulations. I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, congratulations, Iris.
Yes. So I think that's all. I think I've talked for 10 minutes, so it's your turn.
Oh, well, I don't know. I've been rushing around a bit for okay, I have this upcoming trip. So mentally I've been packing for a month.
Yeah.
Because that's, how I do things and trying
Do
to figure
you
out. Yes.
I'm sorry. Do you do the thing where you, like, think about things until it's kind of, like, smooth in your head and then you execute?
Depending on the occasion, but yeah,
Mhm.
like I try to until I'm like, no, I had figured it all out. And
Yeah.
especially, yeah, and especially I'm like, okay, it's gonna be international, so gotta, try to work through the problem so like everything is thought of before. Um, but oh yeah. Amy is right. It is our last stream before I go because next
Mhm.
week we did an interview with Carrie,
You
which
did?
I'm pretty excited for y'all to see. It's pretty awesome. So that will be published next Saturday.
Yeah, we just figured since Anne's gonna be traveling and we had the opportunity to interview Carrie that we would hold on to it. We did it the beginning of the week, so we just are holding on to it for a minute so that Anne can get in to where she is and, you know, deal with
Yeah.
that. Don't have to worry about streaming for a minute.
Mhm.
So,
But
yeah.
yeah, Texas Sheep Lay says no knitting. I know. Says no knitting needles. So I have part of this is because it's like I don't want to start a project that I will have to put aside for a month. But I am knitting. I have the baby blanket that I got with Joanne's closing yarn, so I can
Mhm.
stripe them and be very casual. But these are wooden knitting needles, and I don't know. And also mentally, I'm like, I'm only bringing one pair of knitting needles. I've mentally, I'm let it go. If they take
Mhm.
these, fine. I can, pick up something otherwise. But otherwise, I won't be bringing this because that'll be too much yarn to bring for a baby blanket, and then I'll have this baby blanket one like in Romania and crap. Who wants that? But I did dig out of my yarn stash. I have these two worsted weight yarns from Chicken Lady. I have this very beautiful orange, which I'm in love with very much and would knit with anyways, even if there wasn't an orange knit along for Neil. And this is productively procrastinating, which is again just look at that. So I'll probably
Yep.
make hats or something,
Yeah.
something small enough
Oh,
just to have.
I was gonna
And the
say
thing is
too.
that like it's not like I'm going to be knitting a lot while traveling anyways, but without it, I'd feel
Yeah.
like bare.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of, Jeez Louise. I'm sorry, my brain is tired.
Yeah.
Um, don't know what I was saying. I apologize, friends. Um, but Texas Sheep Lady's saying a lot of folks are saying their knitting's taken. Oh, I
Yeah.
was gonna say, you are gonna have downtime,
Yeah.
and, you might not wanna knit, but it's that thing. Like, when I went to Florida this time, I knew we were going to Orlando, and I was gonna be so busy, and I still had my knitting
Oh
because
yeah.
you have to have your knitting, like,
I know. And
yeah.
even if it's just like an end of the day, I'm just gonna get a few stitches in to like chill. Cause yeah, it's
Mhm.
gonna be a lot of weird traveling. I don't know if I said before, going to Romania and then France. So hopefully my views on the EU won't be a problem. But yeah,
Just
it's
don't talk about them while you're
so
gone.
and I'm going with a friend and she knows me. She's known me for well over a decade and she does know my physical inability to shut up.
Right.
So,
You should probably work on that, though.
yeah, I should. I
It's a
should.
tad.
And Amy says she has a request again for coins for the boy. It's like I sent her coins from Romania last time I was there and otherwise it's just going to be euros. Boring
Mhm.
France. But I'll see. I'll keep that in mind, Amy.
Um, Iris says she has plastic knitting needles for when she travels.
True.
Um, they do make those. But yeah, I'd bring the wood. I was
Mhm.
also gonna say, socks. I don't like to knit socks, but I know a lot of people do, and that they're very portable. You could
Mhm.
get the very small circumference sock needles that are very thin. They're not
Ooh.
very
But
scary.
I did think about that because I'm like, okay, socks are small, but it's like if I do wood needles, it's like toothpicks, and those would snap really easy. Because not that you see most of my knitting needles, but when I have the metal ones, they're curved slightly because I do.
Oh,
And so, I mean, plastic might work, but like I said, if you're going like a size 1 or size 2 needles for socks, I mean, like I could do
yeah.
DKs. Yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I will I will
Liz
take
can't
the
knit. That's
exactly.
sad. Bring the knitting.
I know.
There's
Yeah,
not a question about her bringing knitting. Maybe when you're in France, though, you might be able to find some place to like touch yarn that's not American,
that
which would
is
be
true.
cool.
It's true. My friend who I'm going with, she was there not long ago, and she's like, "Oh yeah, out and about and taking pictures of yarn." I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh, so yeah, that'll
Yeah.
be good."
Yep.
But yeah, poor Liz. Liz was in an accident recently,
Oh, I
so
didn't know that.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. Are
and
you okay?
she hurt her hand, so she's not able to knit right
Aw.
now. So speedy recovery to Liz.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
But
Hope all is well. Um, yeah, I like the yarns though. They'll be nice for hats. Any hats, or are you gonna?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure yet
Mhm.
because you may remember the productively procrastinating is what I did before with gloves for my brother.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, so I'm like, well, I could, but yeah, fun story is I will have to order more of this eventually anyways because my brother wants a scarf. So
Hmm.
it's like, well, I can use this and get more yarn from Lynn later. So that will be good.
Yep.
But yeah, I
Yep.
love this is I'm showing it off again. It is so pretty.
It
It is so
is.
deep. And I'm not because I'm already mentally planning between them. I'm not sure these go. I mean, like they go together, but if I striped them, I don't think that would work.
I wouldn't do that personally,
Yeah.
but
Like I
that's a
like
personal.
these individually. So I'm gonna have to figure out, gonna have to be creative for my
Hmm.
trip.
You
But
could do cables or something though.
ooh,
I mean, and you don't do a lot of. Well, no, you like to do cables, but you haven't done much lately. You've
not
been doing
really. Yeah.
more
I mean,
color work.
yeah, mostly I've been doing color work or knitting very plain or but
Hmm.
cables is a good idea. Or I could do a cowl kind of similar to the sparrow cowl deal, but like just put cables on it instead.
Hmm. That'd be nice.
That'd be
I I haven't been wanting to knit. I think that's part of why these granny squares are making me so happy because they're pretty quick and they're pretty. They're
yeah.
pretty quick. And it's kind of giving me my mojo back. And that's why I thought if I tried that cardigan, it might, like, if I get all of the pieces put together, then it's just sleeves and ribbon. Like,
Yeah.
that can be done pretty quickly. So we'll see. But sorry, I didn't mean to bring it back to me. I'm just saying, I've not
No.
wanted to knit lately, which is really difficult when you have a knitting podcast. I also haven't wanted to listen to the news, which also makes this
Which is
difficult.
also pretty difficult when you
But I don't know. It's like, I know people are sad that we're not having knitting wars while you're gone, but part of it is because like my kids' school year is going to be ending. They have like activities and things, and so it was just easier to not, because I think that's part of why I'm like up in the air, or I'm like, like other life things are going on, so it's like something has to give sometimes, and so it worked out,
Mhm.
so that's okay. Um, the Texas Sheep Lady says leave room in your bag to bring back some yarn.
Oh yeah.
Hmm. I mean, yarn is
Okay.
squishy. You can make that work. I've
Yarn
seen
is
Eve
squishy.
Pack.
And yeah, and
She's
I
good.
we're good.
Better than
And
I am.
well, and also it's like leave room in my bag to bring back lots of stuff.
Hmm.
Going abroad.
Hmm.
Excited.
That's cool. I've never been out of the country. I mean, I've been to Canada because I live in New York. Like, that's not a thing here. I've never been anywhere else, though.
Well,
I,
it's fun.
I never had a burning desire to. That's okay.
Yeah.
Just saying. I've never. Maybe when my kids are older, if the world hasn't burned down. We'll see.
It'll be fine, I'm sure. Or it won't be, you know.
I don't know. Vacuum bags work great for travel and yarn, but will she be able to get a vacuum when she's abroad?
Be knocking on some French person's door. Hey, le vacuum.
You should get in touch with Miss Happy Rose.
Should. That'd be a good idea.
I don't know where she is and where you're going to be, but never hurts to ask, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll be jealous because Anne will have met all the people in the United States and abroad, and I'm just still here. And I live in New York, and I still haven't met anybody. No offense, Anne, but I thought New York was a little bit more popular than South Dakota. How does this work? It's because you travel and I don't. That's the problem.
I like to go places and see things.
I know. Traveling is tiring. I wish we could just Star Trek beam here and there. That's how I would prefer to travel. Although my husband,
I'm not sure how I feel about being disintegrated and then
it'll be fine. I mean, they did it on Star Trek. Neil needs to hop the channel and meet Anne. I mean, for real. I know that they don't travel, but it's really not that far in the whole scheme of things.
Yeah, but that's like being like, hey, you live in New York. Why don't you hop over to New Jersey? And you're like, that's a long way, though.
But
I mean, it's probably farther than New Jersey, depending on.
No, because New York City is like 5 hours from here.
That's
so
true.
I think I think it is farther.
Yeah, it'd be in that general.
I mean, it's miles and miles and miles, Neil says. I don't know, Neil. I don't know. Why would you go to New Jersey? No, Anne was saying that Neil going to France is like if I went from New York to New Jersey, but it's not the same. And yeah, dude, I used to vacation in New Jersey. It was beautiful. I don't think I would go there now. I have lovely memories, though, of my childhood and being in New Jersey. Amy says that if she crosses the pond and Neil or Pirate doesn't meet me, I'm going to be pissed. Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, like, isn't it just a couple of hours? I mean, it depends on, once again, it depends on where in France you are. Yeah. But like,
well, if you take it, I don't know. All things far away must be close together. But I figured Northern England going to, say, Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is the difference. If I lived an hour from like Anne, we would probably podcast together like most often. Like,
if we lived an hour apart, we would meet every week to do this. Do you think we'd
or if it didn't work out, like on a week like this, we would do it virtually, but yeah,
we'd have to have other stuff going on.
Yeah, but like if it was just a regular day, then yes, we would. Amy, you drove past Pirate to see Annie. Meet at the Eiffel Tower. I don't think it's as romantic as they make it out to be on TV, but I'm not talking about like romantic, like you and Neil should have a romance. I'm talking about like, I don't think it's as fancy as they make it out to be on TV. It's romanticized. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I was going for.
No, and that's the thing that people are like, France, there's a lot of issues there. Paris really isn't that great. And I'm like, I don't even care. I'm going. I want to see it. I want to see it for real.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I would go see it for real. But I'm just saying that Neil might not be that interested because I don't think it's as romanticized as they make it out to be.
Right.
Yeah, Amy's talking shit, right? And she hasn't podcast with her sister who's 15 minutes away. So, yeah, get on that, woman. That's a little bit, fail safe asked if British hours are longer than American hours. No, it's just a different mindset, and that's okay. We love to tease Neil about it, though, because we can. So that's all.
Oh, and speaking of crochet squares and Neil, to bring the two together, Neil is working on little star crochet squares for a project, and they're really cool.
I want to see them.
Yeah, he showed them off on the Nittler and Traditha show. I know that he did a video for Blocked magazine today, but I haven't seen that one yet. And
Oh,
new Blocked magazine is out. Go check it out if you haven't.
yes, yes. I have not seen it yet, but will shortly. Um, let's see. You can see the rebuilt Notre Dame. Notre Dame. Notre Dame. Excuse
Mhm.
me. Me and my New York accent here.
My okay, again, the friend that I'm going with, she is very like she is one of those gals who remembers all the lyrics all the time ever, and she's like very quick with words and very quick with like picking up accents and stuff. And like me, I'm like bonjour. Like I don't
This
it's like I have
giant
issues
South
with people's
Dakota
English.
woman.
I'm like, what are you saying? I don't understand.
How fun. I think you're going to have a great time.
I think
Neil
so.
wants to know when you're going to be in Paris. That's a
I I will
offline
message you privately.
conversation.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
but
Because
that'd be
we
fun.
love Anne and Neil. So we'll keep that under wraps until later. Thank you. Have a good day.
But yeah, remind me in case I don't kneel. But yeah,
Mhm. Texas Sheep Place says bomb jor. I saw something today. It made me laugh so hard. It had the word hors d'oeuvres,
yeah.
and the guy talking about it was like, "Have you not learned the alphabet? Have you not learned what these letters say? That is not hors d'oeuvres. That is obviously horse doovers." And it was just like, obviously, what? Excuse me.
Yeah.
What?
Little quick European flights are pretty cheap.
Okay, so the reason when we went to Florida this year that we drove and spent 4 days of our vacation in our car was because it was going to cost like $1,400 for my family of 4 to fly. And that's a lot of money. And
Well, I know my
we, yeah, no.
yeah, how my the way that my flights were set up, like I had the international flights booked already, but just the ones in America, it was like over $100 cheaper for a two-way flight instead of a one-way flight. And even though it was upward of $300, and I'm like,
Mhm.
dang. And maybe I should have booked it sooner, sure. But still, a single flight. It's not even a connecting one. But yeah, it was stupid.
It's, yeah, I don't know, man. Amy says that we'll sponsor Neil's flight. She'll give 10. I'm sure that the rest of us can come up with 18 more dollars. So not 18. It's like what? If it's 28, it's like 40 something,
You can
50,
work out.
whatever. Whatever. I'm sure we can work it out. So it'll
Yeah.
be fine. Um
Send him even more money, then he can get us dinner.
and always thinking ahead.
That's me. Just joking. Anyways, so not just personal news. On to news. Unless there's something else you wanted
No,
to
we
put in
haven't
there.
talked about a thing yet, have we? I mean, we've talked about things, but not any, you know, world stuff. So
But where do you want to start?
you tell me. I'm just here for the ride.
Well, we have some international news if you
Okay.
want to start there. The elections in Australia just came through, and they elected Anthony Albanese, who is the it's not the sorry, I wrote this down because it's one of those like, Labor Tory deals. And the Liberal Party of Canada is the quote
Wait,
conservative party. And
Australia.
Labor, sorry, yes, Australia. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm thinking Canada. And so yeah, the Liberal Party is the quote conservative party, and then you have Labor, which is Labor. Um, yeah. Oh, hey, Katie's in the chat. Hi, Katie. Um, anyways, so yeah, from what I see in Australia, it is the Labor Party who has won, and rather like in Canada, um, all that I'm hearing from Australians is it's like, yeah, they ran a appeasement candidate, pretty much a rhino candidate, as we would say in America, that
Mhm.
they would not talk about anything serious. They wouldn't talk about immigration. They wouldn't talk about, having to speak English. They wouldn't talk about any of these things. And it was just appeasement and don't rock the boat. And we think the voters are more liberal. So we are going to change for the voters as opposed to the voters agreeing with us and coming to our side. They didn't even make the debate of what their policies would be. It was just like, oh, well, but we agree with the other guys. So the other guys won because you'd rather have the real thing than a sham, anyways.
Right. But I don't know. I haven't heard about Australia, but I know people in Canada are upset about the
Oh,
election
yeah.
and they're mad at Trump about it. And okay, so Trump said some stuff that's been pretty goofy about them being the 51st state and then the tariffs and stuff, but when push comes to shove, Trump wasn't involved in your election. Your leaders and your people were involved in your election, and if it didn't work out the way you want it to, I I don't know. Go suck a night. I no, I'm not gonna.
No,
Just
no, pretty much that. And it's the same thing with Pierre Polyev. I'm sorry with my enunciations, but it is like, I'm sorry, you didn't make the argument. And also it's, you find this issue on both the left and the right where you assume that people can't change their minds, so I won't even engage because they will just be, and then you sort of put in the worst version of them.
right,
um, but you need to make the argument. You need to say, hey, this is what where I stand and why. This is why I think this works. These are the
right,
policy decisions that I stand for. And yes, you may agree with me, but I'm going to explain this to you and I'm going to be consistent and I'm not going to move. That is how you change people's minds. And they look at what other things you do and you're like, well, wait, you were right about that too. Okay,
mhm,
I can see this now. You need to actually believe in something and you need to actually articulate what you believe. And
yep,
if you're just going to be like, well, we're not the other guys. You should vote
yeah,
for us. You That's not a party. That's not
yeah,
that's not anything. And don't be surprised if that doesn't fly or if at bare minimum that doesn't make people excited to vote for you,
right,
because when Trump was elected, it was an overwhelming voter turnout. Why? Because people were enthusiastic about voting for him. It's like, you're really going to get out the vote with a candidate.
yeah, and the guy that was running in Canada, like at some point, he wasn't even talking about the issues. He was just like off on a tangent about, like, you're not going to win like that.
Mhm.
And some people have said that they think it was similar to like our 2020. And I don't know. I don't know enough about Canadian politics, but if you don't like how it worked out, then make a change. We didn't like how 2020 worked out. So everybody went and really, really rallied it after Trump. And so I guess that's what you got to do. I don't know.
Yeah, you got to be serious.
Hmm.
And I mean, and England right now, like the Reform Party has won some elections, and that's even with Nige flaking out. But every once in a while, he'll put out a no, 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 we'll do something for real this time, we promise.
Right.
But he is considered to be an actual alternative. And, a lot of the British people still believe in Brexit, which didn't really happen. But it's still a no, we want these policies. No, we want actual change. We don't want fake change. We don't want
Mhm.
slightly different names on things. We don't want the, oh, well, we're slightly going less fast off a cliff. No, we want an actual course correction.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
so
in England, they had the huge ruling about what a woman really is. And a lot of people there were really vocal about that. And so you can push change and you can make people take notice of your issues if if you're working for it.
Right.
I think that a lot of people are complacent because we've lived pretty good lives. We haven't had major wars like, World War II or Vietnam, or, yeah, we've had ongoing conflicts, but it hasn't touched people the way that those huge conflicts have. And we have these cushy lives where people's problems are like being called the wrong pronoun and so I think everybody's used to coasting. And if you really want something, you have to do something.
Mhm.
I mean, Anne and I are small voices, but we didn't like what happened on Ravelry, and so we decided to be our small voices.
Right.
We're not making a huge change, but we tried to find a way that we could go out and do something because we didn't think it was right.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Just my thought.
Yeah, and also, with the same thing that it's like, okay, so we sort of, ran up a flag that way of, hi, we're the opposing voices, and we've been surprised of, who's joined us on these things. I mean, look at all of our friends now who we had
Mhm.
no idea about
Yeah.
before we
When Anne
started.
and I started, it was Anne and I and like two other people that we knew were gonna like chill with us, and that was like
Yeah.
it.
And it was like we had a couple Instagram friends and
Hmm. It was. And it's hard. Nobody wants to go and make waves, right? Like it's not in most people's nature. But if you don't like stuff, then I guess that's what you have to do. I
right,
don't know. Not quite on topic, but that's my thought on the whole matter.
right.
So, what else do we have going on that we need to?
Well, also with international news, we have kind of a issue with Germany that the German parliament has declared the AfD party as a far right extremist party. And because of that, they have given their spy agency extra powers to spy on the German people.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's something. And
That's special.
yeah, that's special. That's yeah, and
Okay.
at the same time, Marco Rubio, who has every job in the administration, was talking about it, and they
Wait, did you just say he has every job in the administration?
yeah, they gave him another job this week that he's Secretary of State, but he's also like national security assistant to the president and technically in charge of US aid, even though they're under doing that. And he's like an like national archivist, something, something. Like they just keep throwing jobs at that guy.
Some people work really well with a lot of pressure. So maybe
Yeah,
he's just one of those guys where like, or maybe they overlap enough that we don't know about it that it like makes sense for him to kind of be in all these things. I'm not sure,
I don't know.
but
It's just that Latino work ethic or
interesting.
something. No, and I'm surprised at how well Marco Rubio has done. He has been very focused, and I mean, he was the one who chucked Zelensky out of the White House, so good on him.
Hmm.
Um, but he was talking, and Trump was talking about this too, that there were dossiers on people under the Biden administration and previous about their social media posts. So
Nice.
it's like, we are not doing that anymore. No, this is a violation. And there was also some, I believe it was an executive order about, or maybe it was a kind of a look into deal about bias against Christians from government agents because we had, it was like the NSA and stuff looking at churches, specifically Catholic churches, for to sort of monitor for quote extremism, which was really bizarro. So let's not forget
I
that
think,
happened.
not for nothing, but I don't know that there's a lot of extremism in the Catholic Church.
Yeah,
Like out of all of them, they've been pretty like on the bandwagon with a lot of like the weird stuff that's been going on.
yeah.
Maybe not as
And
much as like the Episcopals. Sorry if you're one of these groups, friends, but
sorry if you're an Episcopal, but what the heck?
yeah, but what the heck? There's a church down the road that has a gay flag, and I just don't understand.
I don't know. There is a Catholic church in town that actually had like a communist slogan on its side, on its sign. Like it was like the divine is in the collective or something like that. And I'm like, whoa, honey. And there was a pride flag and everything else too. Um, but that was pretty intense.
Mhm.
But even so, and sorry guys, it's not IRA days anymore. You're not supporting Irish extremists in the Catholic Church, or at least we hope not.
I mean, I don't know about it if that's happening. So,
Yeah, it's
um,
not the 70s.
um, so you're talking about Rubio and all the stuff he's been doing. Did you hear about what the FBI got going on this week? They
Ooh.
arrested two dudes who were involved in like human trafficking or child sexual abuse material, or what, I'm not entirely certain what they were doing, but
Mhm.
apparently they were pretty bad people, and they were like encouraging kids to end their lives and different things, and like bragging about being able to do it, and so they got arrested, and that's um pretty fabulous. Oh, and apparently in the Department of Health and Human Services, before RFK was in there, they also were involved in trafficking children. They lost so many of them. They didn't ever follow up. They didn't worry about it, and they were trying to push to fast track children so they did not have to follow up on them,
Wow.
even though they knew that they were going into situations where they were doing child labor and um like indentured servitude and different things, and yeah. So, but Robert Kennedy called that out, and you know, I'm glad. But
Definitely.
so that happened. I thought that was fabulous. I mean, the fact that they're calling out these things that are going on,
Right.
that we're
Not that
finding
they're.
these people, and some people are like, why aren't we getting all these files and stuff? Yes, we should be, but also we're like actually doing action. Like these people, they're trafficking kids and involved in that,
Mhm.
are getting arrested and things. So I guess take what you can get right
Yeah,
now.
which is excellent. And of course, there's suspicion of people destroying files as well. So that's
Yeah.
also something you have to kind
Yeah.
of fight people from the inside with these
Yep.
deals.
Um, I know you have other things to say, but I hadn't heard this. There's an awful story there. 14 children have been arrested, some as young as 11, on suspicion of murdering another kid. I can't
That's
imagine. I have an 11-year-old who is currently sitting on the couch with their favorite stuffed animal, and um, that's where they should be.
yeah. Also, conspiracy of 14 kids. That's like murder
Well,
on the Orient
obviously that's
Express.
why they got caught, because 14 kids can't. It's like that joke about the disciples. That's how you know that Jesus really was real and was resurrected, because 12 men couldn't keep a secret for that long,
Right.
you know. Um, but that's terrifying. I'll have to look into that.
Mhm.
God, that's horrible. So anyway, what else is on your list, Anne?
Well, oh, Trump signed an executive order to defund PBS and NPR,
Cool, as he
which
should.
yeah, which is great. And there's a lot of people like, oh no, these aren't biased. I'm like, you haven't listened to them lately. Like, I've said before that, I grew up watching PBS and listening to NPR. Sorry, I am that
Mhm.
demographic. But it's like, but you knew the whole time that there was liberal bias, like the whole time. Like
Yeah,
even with, I like to listen to classical radio. That's like, yeah, they have their news updates at the beginning of the hour, and they always do their two good things, two bad things. The Republicans did something bad, but then this did something good. Neutral statement. It's always slanted in one way, and it doesn't matter how subtle the voice is. It's slanted one way. And just because you have a
Right.
low voice doesn't mean you're Mr. Reasonable. Anyone can have a calm voice and talk like this. You can say literally anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want. Anything about Fauci and killing puppies. Killing puppies is just cool. You're just doing a cool voice because I'm a reasonable person. Like anybody can do that, okay? And anyone can moderate their language and put a slant in any direction they want.
Yep.
But
I mean, I only liked PBS for Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. And I think after my kids stopped watching it, it even got a little bit, you know.
weirder.
Yep.
But yeah, my favorite joke is that sorry, someone on Twitter said it's just BS and PR now without the funding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, other news. Probably don't want more depressing from England, because they are doing their they're putting out documents when it comes to assisted suicide, and even though they declared they knew what a woman is, they still say, oh, pregnant people won't necessarily be barred from seeking assisted death. And
Really?
also, postpartum will also not be in the hey, you're not allowed for this program category. Sorry.
Sorry. One of the kids was asking if they could have a snack. So sorry about that. um so I'm sorry, I missed what you just said. I apologize.
That um, that their quote medically assisted
Oh,
suicide thing.
freaking it's disgusting. And I don't even know how people can say that these things are okay. I mean, I don't know. Yes, Neil, if you are hungry, you should have a snack, okay?
Have a snack. So okay, to it's like, man, I am just a laugh a minute with my news here,
I
because
know.
I know I got another one for you. Super fun, super chill. We're all just hanging out here. That the CCP, the Chinese state media, have been reposting a Maoist speech from 1938, which is it's on protracted war, which is it's all about on how to outlast your enemy during mass starvation. So they're not doing so hot is basically the impression.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's bad. Anyways, and also they China recently had these sort of war exercises thing, and everyone's saying like this is a big hype up deal to potentially invade Taiwan. But there was like a couple generals that were disappeared in the middle of that. So maybe again things not doing so well.
Mhm.
But so that's happening.
Mhm.
You're just like
So
like,
I don't
well,
know. Some
and
stuff
thanks for
is like
sharing that everybody's dying and starving out. And
everything sucks.
yeah,
Everybody
everything
sucks.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. All my other news is sucky, so I don't know.
Amy said she finished her blanket, which was her goal this stream.
Yeah, that's good news.
She needs more blankets. If you guys are in a knitting or crocheting funk and you don't know what to do, Amy needs blankets. So that's always
Yeah,
an
always.
option.
Thanks for baby. See, Miss Jeepy says she's getting a snack. See, everyone's getting a snack after
It's
that
that
one.
time of night. It's that time of night. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what else. What other news do you have? Is it terrible?
Yeah.
Do you want to share it, or are we gonna just wrap up?
Oh,
I mean,
you're looking at me like what other horrible thing you're gonna tell me? Well, that there was some arsonists in Israel. The fires, I believe, are all contained now, and there have been 0 deaths, which is great. Hamas, things aren't really going so great on the Hamas front, because you have a lot of protests in Gaza, Palestine, however you want to phrase that. And they have executed 9 men and shot 27 in the legs to kind of like quell the protests because they are those kinds of people in Hamas.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, Amy says I couldn't bring happy news for her last stream. You know what? Things are going to be great.
Anne is who she is, and she brings all the news, whether or not it's happy. Okay.
You know, these are the things I write down. The great news is you get to hear from Carrie Smith next week. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
could also hear from her right now. Go over to the program with Carrie Smith. But I mean, don't leave our channel because we love you very much.
Yes.
But
In a minute.
in a minute. But we will also, you can hear our interview with her next week. It'll be great.
Yes, it will be great. So hummus is killing their own. I think that was supposed to say Hamas, but that was funny. And depressing news brings the boys to the yard. Yeah.
Yeah. But somehow also not.
Yeah, go figure. Sorry, I got distracted. I have a terrible neighbor. So if anybody knows anything about air pollution law, I would love to get some feedback on that. I know this is out left field, but also part of why I'm distracted because my brain just went in a different direction, and I very much apologize. But yeah, seems to me like you gotta be able to do something about clouds of diesel smoke rolling into your house. But I could be wrong. So, do you have anything else that we need to?
Well, all my
Anything else
news
that's
is
depressing?
depressing. It seems to be. Oh wait, there's some good news.
Okay.
There was a property dispute here in South Dakota in which they were actually going to jail people who they had a farmstead here for over 100 years, and there was a it was right next to public property. There was sort of this fence line in a ditch, and under the Biden administration, it was like and they had these people had farmed the same land for years, but they said that the line was on the that the fence was drawn on the wrong line, and therefore this farmer had had like taken over a part of federal land, and they were going to fine them and throw them in jail for years over
Mm-hmm.
this thing. And under the Trump administration, that they've cleared that all up. They're no longer going to do that. So,
Okay, that is good. It's interesting.
anyway, sorry, that's not.
It's better than some of the news you have. I mean,
Well, that's not high on details, but
yeah.
anyways, so wrapping it up.
I'm so sorry. Yes. So Anna's going to be out of the country. We may or may not be at our regular time. Things may be funny for a while. We'll keep you abreast of what's happening. Yeah. So make sure you're following along with us. And don't forget to check out Chicken Lady. Don't forget to use her code PIK Hot Wing for 20% off of your order of $50 or more at chickenladyfiberarts.com. If you are the winner, don't forget to email us.
Yes, the winner is Maggie Wands of Two. Her comment was on Rumble. Check out our Rumble page if you haven't been.
Yep.
And she is winning this Eastern Bluebird yarn. So yeah, definitely message us at politicallyincorrectknitters@gmail.com with your address. I will get this sent to you. Unless I can't get it in time for my trip, in which case it will still be waiting. It'll be here. It is yours.
Yep. Yep, exactly. So guys, thanks for joining us. I've got to run. I apologize, but have a good trip, Anne, and we will see you in a week or two.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
You guys. Bye.
Bye.
As you turned off the live stream,